So we are here introducing Adam Cianciarulo from the 250 AMA motocross, supercross, who's now going into his moto season after a stunning victory in Las Vegas 2 weeks ago. So what I'm really intrigued about is you mentioned a sense of calmness on the first time you took it. Did you have that same sense of calmness at the starting grid?
I did. I think it provides more clarity for me, especially in Supercross. There's so many things going on, and any little thing to help you kind of focus in on yourself, and focus in on what you need to do. It's I maybe didn't feel as much this time around the calmness factor, but it was definitely still there, and I would describe it more this time as just mental clarity.
Okay. And what about the time between the 30-second board and the start, where normally, people get butterflies or whatever? Do you remember how you felt in between that time? Did it seem longer than normal?
I would say that I just felt more present-minded. I think your mind tends to wander when stuff like that happens. I know for me I've been racing all my life, and in past races, it's, your mind will wander to, everything from, getting the whole shot yourself, or, what could happen, what could go wrong, and you just kind of think of everything. And I think for me, it was just a sense of, being present-minded and knowing exactly what I needed to do.
So this is like the fourth time you've taken it. You took it, I think, in 2 or 3 races and 1 or 2 practices, 1 race, and then this time I think we got all the variables worked out, and it seemed like, how did this compare to the last times you've taken it?
This is definitely the most effective it's been for me, I think. The few times I've tried it before, it helped me out a lot, but this time I feel like we kind of pinpointed exactly when I needed to take what, and when I needed to stop taking so many carbs and stuff like that. So I felt like this time it was definitely the most effective. And for me, I was pretty sick that day, Vegas a couple weeks ago. So to not feel good in the beginning of the day, and then to take the ketones and feel as good as I did in the main event, when it mattered most, it was big. It was
This was East versus West. This was the entire season.
Exactly.
And you destroyed everyone by what, 7 seconds, and the top 3 guys all crashed?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy race, but yeah, like I said, man, it's I think the ketones saved my day for sure.
Wasn't there one turn where you almost wiped out? I mean, your wheel was almost, horizontal.
Yeah, Vegas is notoriously slick. It's got really hard packed dirt, a lot like Vegas, just kind of in the middle of the desert. That's how the dirt is. So
my wife doesn't know much about racing, and she saw it and she goes, "Oh, well, the other 3 fell, so it's like, I feel bad for them." It's like, I said, no, that he did not fall. That's part of the race, is that he did not fall.
Yeah, it was interesting because I didn't think I had a shot at the championship going into the race. I had 3 guys in front of me. One was my teammate. The other 2 riders, they were all pretty much tied in points going into the last race. So all the attention was on them. Nobody was really talking about me. And,
right.
Zach Osborne crashed in the first turn. Jordan Smith crashed out of the race. And my teammate Joey was kind of back in the field a little bit. And it turned out I went in 14 points down, and I ended up only losing the championship by 2 points. So there was actually a point in the race to where everybody was thinking that I was going to win it. It was pretty crazy.
I mean, we were jumping up. We had a screencast. He didn't have access to it, so I was screencasting from the iPad to the TV, and we were jumping on the couches as well.
Yeah, when I got back to the hotel room and I watched the race, I was freaking out. I had no idea what was going on behind me.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that it was so close and all that.
No, I
give
really
you a little
didn't.
board saying 1 point away from championship.
No, I didn't have anything like that. I don't even think my mechanic knew, to be honest with you. It was just the standard, how many laps I had to go and how big my lead was and stuff like that.
The announcer said the track was really particularly slippery, and Frank and I were saying that the cognitive awareness, being present, might have had an effect in this race where everybody else was crashing.
I definitely felt like when you get in the lead, normally, especially Supercross, it's very easy to get unfocused and start thinking about other things. And for me, when I was out front, I just kind of felt locked in and I felt focused. And not that I haven't done that before, but I just felt like I was kind of in the zone, and it felt easy to me, and I think, the other times I've taken the ketones, I haven't necessarily put myself in a great position as terms of getting the whole shot and like I did in Vegas. But I kind of feel the same sense. I mean, obviously I have to twist the throttle on the right. The ketones can't do all the work for me, but I definitely think it's easier to have that, that locked in feeling.
Yeah, the word "the zone" has been a
The zone,
commonly repeated term for that.
And the crazy thing was, even with that big lead, you were still cutting some of the fastest lap times. It's not like you were making it easier on those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't let up at all, especially at East-West Shootout. There's a lot of fast guys, so I had to stay on it, and that's where some guys struggle when they get out into the lead. And you see guys that are always fast and they get bad starts and they're coming to the field, but then you give them the lead early. Sometimes they'll blow it, they'll tip over or something like that, and it's definitely one of the hardest things to do as a Supercross rider to remain kind of in the zone, as you say.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to keep it short. Steve, any other final questions?
What did you think about that pass at the end of the race?
Yeah, and that was interesting for sure. Joey's my teammate and he's my buddy, the guy that got taken out, and it was interesting all day long. I was obviously I was rooting for him, and looking out for him a little bit, and to see, I actually rolled over the jump, went to the first rhythm section after I got the checkered flag. The race was over for me, and I looked to my right and watched the whole thing happen, and I was just it's a real crazy feeling because I just went from the highest of the highs to winning the race, and then watching my buddy get taken out, which I knew was for the championship. And then it was obviously the pass was aggressive, but it's for a championship, and even I read an interview with with Joey today, and he said he would have done the same thing. So it's one of those deals you never want it to kind of end like that, but I guess for the fans it was exciting.
Yeah, that's racing.
Yeah, that's what they say.
All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.